Hi, I'm Melinda Marks, Senior Analyst for ESG, and I cover cloud and application security. And I'm here with Jeff Williams, co-founder and CTO of Contrast Security. And we're here to talk about scaling security with the speed of modern software development. We talk about shift left concepts to shift security responsibilities to developers to scale. And there's a misconception where people focus on the left side of the software development lifecycle in the build phase. But with cloud native, development is continuous instead of linear. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that's right. I think, if you're thinking about shifting left, the goal is to make sure that you're fixing those vulnerabilities early in the process when they're less expensive and burdensome. But if your whole development process is a pipeline that takes 6 minutes to run, then it doesn't really matter. What you want to do is shift to the point in the life cycle when it's most efficient to fix problems. And that may be all the way in production when you rely on something like runtime protection to prevent vulnerabilities from being exploited. And I love that quote from Cars where Lightning McQueen gets upset and he says, oh, that makes perfect sense. Turn right to go left. But actually, I think that's what's going on here is actually you can get more efficient by doing some things in production. Even though that seems like right, it's really helping you left. And that's because it is a cycle.
Yep. And Contrast pioneered RASP, runtime application security protection, to monitor applications, detect vulnerabilities, and apply protection. Today, we see vendors taking a similar approach to this, gathering some telemetry around the cloud native stack to understand behavior and communication patterns of their running applications to help them prioritize their top security issues and what needs fixing. So there's also a new category, cloud native application protection platforms, or CNAPPs, that bring cloud security posture management, or CSPM, cloud workload protection, or CWP, and brings it together with application security. So the idea is that CWP and CSPM monitor the application's tech stack, the virtual machines, containers, serverless functions, and related resources to catch the issues to fix them. But now it's evolved into AppSec because they were kind of separate before. And you have to tie that into the development tools to make sure that you have a full lifecycle approach for efficient remediation. But this is something that Contrast has been doing before the category was created, kind of tying these areas together. Can you tell us about how you developed your RASP approach and how it's evolved?
Yeah, we spent many years working with large companies on their AppSec programs. And what we realized was that being inside the application is the key to being able to identify both vulnerabilities and attacks. Using the same instrumentation platform, we can identify vulnerabilities during development, and we can identify attacks in production on running applications. By having all that context, we can be very efficient at doing both things, identifying vulnerabilities in applications, that's the shift left part, and then preventing vulnerabilities from being exploited, that's the shift right part. I'm glad the rest of the market's catching up and realizing like you don't need 6 different technologies and products to secure your apps and APIs.
Absolutely. And you guys started out with RASP, but now you've built out your platform, tying it together with SAST, IAST, SCA, and serverless capabilities. Can you describe how these work together to protect the applications and streamline remediation?
Yeah, essentially what we're doing is we're instrumenting different parts of the software development process. Early in development, we instrument around the code repo and around IDEs and the developer's environment. We gather information there, analyze it and give them instant feedback. As the application goes through CI/CD, we gather more information, better feedback. As it goes into staging environment, same thing. Then when it goes into production, we're gathering information and using that telemetry across the whole life cycle to create the most accurate picture of what's going on with that application from a security perspective. Once we identify an issue, we deliver that issue directly to the people that need it through the tools that they're already using. So you don't need another dashboard, you don't need another security plugin. We can deliver that feedback right through the tools you have.
So can you give us some examples of how your RASP and runtime capabilities have helped customers efficiently secure their applications?
We instrument directly into the application, directly at the point where the vulnerability exists. We prevent that vulnerability from being exploited. So we can make whole classes of vulnerabilities go away. Things like SQL injection and expression language injection and unsafe deserialization. And so this is very different than trying to analyze HTTP requests at the perimeter, where you don't have any context of how that data is going to be used or what parts of the application are going to be used. Instead, we do the protection from within the running application or API. And it's considerably faster, much more accurate, and way more scalable than trying to set up a single point of failure that is a super noisy bottleneck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is again helping security scale for the speed of software development with cloud native. So thanks, Jeff, for being here with me today to talk about effective ways to protect applications as development scales. Be sure to connect and follow us and check out the resources available on the Contrast Security website.